Hello everybody, I'm Michael Charvel from Wayne Guitars. Today we're going to discuss the options that we have for our Wayne guitar necks. Before I get into the options, the standard features on all of the Wayne guitar necks, they're a 1 11/16 inch nut width. It has a 2 1/4 inch heel width. We have the 2 1/4 inch heel width so the high E string does not roll off the fretboard. The fretboard radius, it's a compound radius. We do a compound radius because when you're playing up in the first, fifth, you can play your bar chords nice and comfortable, and then it gets flatter as a compound, so you can get the action super low, and you can bend up, full step, half step, and the note doesn't choke out. Another featured standard, which is new for us on all the Wayne guitars, is our spoke wheel truss rod adjustment. This thing is awesome. It is the best truss rod adjustment in the business. The old guitars my dad did originally back in the 70s had the truss rod adjustment. You had to put a screwdriver in here to adjust it. But the problem with that was you have to take the neck off the body to adjust the truss rod. And every time you take that neck off, you increase the chance of chipping the paint in the body or cracking the paint in the body. And if you do it a whole bunch of times, it can strip out the screws that bolt the neck to the body. Then eventually we moved it up here where you could adjust it up here, which is a lot better. But the spoke wheel right now is the best way to do it. And the reason why, you don't have to take the neck off the body at all. So you eliminate chipping the body, scratching the body, and when you don't take the neck off, you don't have to take the chance of stripping out the screws, the holes on the neck. And you don't have to have a special tool to use this. So like on the Floyd Rose locking clamps, I just take my Allen wrench clamp that I would clamp the guitar, the lock down, and I just put it in here and I can adjust it. And then I always, on my personal guitars, I have a little holder where I have the Allen wrenches on the back of the neck. So I can just slip this off and adjust that in 2 seconds. And it's great because on my personal stuff, I've got my guitars tuned to E flat and some of them are tuned to drop C. So when I tune them down real fast, you need to adjust the truss rod, right? Because you've got less tension on the neck. So you can just pull this out and adjust it very fast, very quick. And the truss rod in this, our necks, it's a single action truss rod. We do those because they sound better, it's less metal, it's less weight in the neck, and our truss rods are custom made for us. So this spoke wheel has a nice feel when you adjust it. I'm not going to name any names from other brand guitars. We've had a couple other guitars come here that we've done repairs on that were from different manufacturers, and they have a spoke wheel, but the truss rod just felt really gritty, just cheap, like you almost thought you were going to break it. We use a really high quality, custom made, USA made truss rod along with the spoke wheel. So that's all standard on the neck. Skunk stripes now, a skunk stripe and the bee stings are standard on all the Wayne necks. So when you get a neck, it has the classic skunk stripe and the bee sting. Okay, let's talk about options. This right here is our old headstock design. This is a template of one of our necks, but this is a new Wayne headstock design. So this one is the old headstock. That's the new headstock. We do not charge extra for that. So if you call up and say, hey Michael, I want to go with the new headstock, we'll do it and there's no price. It's the same price as the old headstock. All of our headstocks on our guitars are straight string pull. The reason why we do this, if the guitar neck doesn't have a locking clamp, if it's a traditional bone nut, the guitar stays in tune better when the strings go straight to the keys, because when you bend the string, it's less binding up in the nut. When you have guitars where the strings are on an angle, they're angling off, and if it doesn't have a Floyd clamp on it, they just don't stay in tune as well. That's why we use straight string pull headstocks on all of our guitars. So those are the headstock options. Speaking of headstocks, we can do a traditional, which is the maple with a black logo, which has satin clear on it, it's lacquer. Or if you want to have us paint this to match the body of your guitar, so if you had like a red metal flake body and you say, hey Michael, I want a red metal flake headstock, matching headstock, we can do that. Or if you have a graphic on the body, if I paint a graphic on it and you want some hot rod flames on the headstock to match, that is an option, which you can do either on the new headstock or the old headstock rather, or the new headstock. Another cool feature we're doing on these guitars, which I'm really excited about, is we're running graphite strips parallel to the truss rod route, which is an option. So basically you have your truss rod going down the center of the neck, and we run 2 graphite strips as an option. And what this does is it really strengthens the neck up. So if you want something stable, or if you live in an area where the moisture content is, you know, it's super dry in the winter and it's super humid in the summer, and you want a neck that's super stable. The graphite truss rods, or the graphite rods rather, they're not truss rods, they're rods. The graphite rods really strengthen the neck up. And another thing we do with all of our necks is we glue on a fretboard. We do not make one-piece necks. A one-piece neck is an inferior design. To glue the fretboard on is the best way to do it because it makes the neck more stable. That's why we do it. And keep in mind, we're constantly trying to get the best guitar that we can make on the planet. So we're constantly, you know, getting stuff, just pushing the envelope all the time. And speaking of pushing the envelope, we're now offering roasted wood. And what the roasted wood does is it changes the molecular structure of the wood. And it modifies the moisture content. And basically what it does, it makes the neck super, super, super stable as far as wanting to twist or warp. And we just started offering that. We're super excited about it. I'm building the first 2 necks up for myself. I'm making some hydras with the roasted maple necks with the graphite rods. And when you glue the fretboard on, and when you have a quarter sawn maple neck, you've got a really, really strong, stable neck. So those are all new options for the Wayne necks. Fretboards, we offer ebony, rosewood, quarter sawn maple, bird's eye maple, flame maple. The back of the neck, same thing. You can get your choice of bird's eye maple, flame maple, quarter sawn maple. We do some necks in mahogany for the backs. We can do some of them in Carina. So those are pretty much the options. Let me see if I'm missing anything here. We've got so many options on this stuff. The new headstock, the graphic, it's on the headstock. Oh, the dots. Usually on maple we run black so you can see them. But we can do your choice color of dots, you know, pearl, clay, black, or custom inlays. If you want some custom inlays with your name or a tree of life inlaid in the neck, we can do that as well. So I believe those cover all the options on the Wayne necks. P.S. I forgot one other thing that's a standard option on all of the Wayne necks. The back of the neck, the fretboard are all hand rubbed oil. And the reason why we do this is it gives the neck a real slick, organic feel. It doesn't get sticky like a painted neck would. And actually the guitar sounds better because there's no paint on the fretboard or the back of the neck. The guitar has more resonance, more organic sound. The only paint on the neck would be just on the top of the headstock to protect the Wayne logo. So that's standard feature. Another standard feature on all of our necks is we round off the edge of the fretboard. So when you grab the guitar, it has a really nice worn-in feel. It feels very comfortable, like an old pair of cowboy boots you've had for 35 or 40 years. It just feels like an old friend. So those are some other standard features that we offer on the necks. Thank you.